everybody, Lord Tremendous here, and I got another battle report here for you. This is a 2,000 point battle, myself versus a Wood Elf, Tomb Kings versus a Wood Elf army. Not the same one from Battle Report 1, this is another opponent who just so happens to be playing Wood Elves. This one is a lot closer than my last battle report, so sit back, relax, and get ready for the carnage. Here's my list. I'm playing Tomb Kings, I'm going over to Mortuary Cult. I go into a deeper dive in my first video of the old world, so if you're looking for my reasoning and rationale on why I'm taking what I'm taking, please take a look. But for now, this is the same list from my previous battle report, so for brevity, my characters come in at 897 points. It's a 2,000 point list. I have my High Priest, Idametagasi, at 460 points. He's my general on a Bone Dragon. Level 4 Wizard using Illusion with the Lore Familiar, Talisman of Protection, and the Flail of Skulls. I have another High Priest, Bernice. She's at 267 on a Skeletal Seed. Level 4 Wizard with Necromancy. She's got the Scarab Brooch, the Warding Splint, and the Ruby Ring of Ruin. Last but not least is my Mortuary Priest, Baby Mage at 170 points. He's my BSB Wielder with the Banner of Desert Wind, a Level 2 Wizard using Elementalism, and the Amulet of the Serpent. My core is simple. I've got 669 points total, starting off with 30 Skeleton Archers at 150 points with hand weapons and warbows. Then I've got 10 Skeleton Horse Archers at 120 points with warbows, light armor, and hand weapons. And then my Killer Bricka 8 Ushapti at 399 points with great bows, and there's a Unit Champion Ancient in there. And then I finish it off with 434 points of special with 2 Tomb Scorpions, both with the Terrace Below, and 5 Venerable Ushapti at 280 points for anybody who wants to get close and die. Here's my opponent's list. He was playing Wood Elves. It's a 2,000 point list, and he goes by the screen name Wrathguard. This is an old buddy of mine, opponent. And he also plays Tomb Kings, and he is the owner of King Bubba Hotep, my Lord and Savior. His list, starting off with 969 points of characters, is his Glade Lord, it's his General, he's on a Forest Dragon, he's got the Longbow, Hand Weapon, Light Armor, Shield, the Ogre Blade, and the Talisman of Protection. He's also got the Annoyance of Netlings and the Befuddlement of Mischiefs. Wow, that even works when you're trying to talk about him. That's pretty impressive. And he comes in at a whopping 550 points. He's dangerous. He's got a Spell Weaver, Pouty Face. She comes in at 279 points. She's on an Elven Steed. She's a level 4 wizard using Battle Magic. She's got the Oaken Staff, may it splinter and crack, the Ruby Ring of Ruin, and a Resplendence of Luminescence. And I won't lie, I don't know what the Resplendence of Luminescence does. I just like to say it. She is a curse. And I call her Pouty Face because for some reason Idametagasi doesn't like to dispel her stuff. I think he might be infatuated with her. Last but not least is his Spell Singer at 140 points. She's a level 2 wizard with battle magic, and she's got the Lore Familiar. She's just a support mage. His core comes in at 545 points. He's got 2 units of Glade Guard, 10 by, probably with a Musician, that or a Unit Champion. I can't remember which, it really didn't come up. And of course they have Hagbane Tips, because that's a smart choice. And 7 Glade Riders coming in at 153 points, with a Musician, a Unit Champion, and Hagbane Tips like everything else. And rounding out his army are 466 points of special, 5 Wild Riders, because they're a great unit, and then 20 Wildwood Rangers coming in at 326 points, which is extremely expensive for elves. They have shields. I think they had full command and maybe some sort of magic banner. I don't remember. All I remember is the pain and bloody carnage that they wreaked on the field. For those that aren't familiar, Wildwood Rangers get +1 attack and multiple wounds too if they're in combat with a fear-causing unit. Oh my Cetra. Here's deployment. On my left side there, I've got my brick of archers with Baby Mage inside. The idea is if he comes down that flank, which I know he's going to, anything that goes into the woods gets peppered with poison shots. Hopefully up to 30 if you're a large target, but you know, I'll take 20 or 19 or whatever. Whatever works. Volley fire, probably a little bit more, but you know, I was going to put as many into them as I could. The horse archers with Bernice attached, same thing. They were going to fire forward and try to deal with the archers in in the center and any target's opportunity that may arise. The Venerable Ushabti are behind them, and they were just going to move up and try to protect my Bowshapti and my archers to the best of their ability. Their biggest weakness, in my opinion, is just how slow they are. They're movement 4, whereas the regular Ushabti are movement 5. I don't know if that's an oversight. It is what it is. I'll complain about other things. My Bowshapti are in the forest, just in case he decides to shoot back, gives him that further -1. I know he's just looking for poison, but the less hits he gets, the better. And then, of course, Idametigasi on his Dragon Badonkadonk in the middle there to deal with the Wild Riders, and eventually the rest of his army once we get down to it. My opponent on our left flank there is got his Rangers, and behind them is his Dragon. I'm kind of worried about the Dragon. I was not worried enough about the Rangers, and for that, I apologize. His little level 2 mage is with the scouts up top there because getting near me was pretty much suicide. His Glade Riders with his level 4 with that friggin' oaken staff. She's just laughing at me already. And then he's got 2 units of Glade Guard in the middle there, Sacrificial Lambs, with the Wild Riders thinking that they're going to flank. They're not flanking. They're not flanking. I see them. I see you guys. That's pretty much it for deployment. Here are my spells. Idametigasi got Glittering Robes, Column of Crystal, Spectral Doppelgangers, and I gave him Mind Razor again because I'm thinking, hey, it'd be nice to have a range shot. I really have to stop taking that stupid spell. Bernice got Incantation of Desert Wind, Spiritual Vortex, Curse of Years, and Spirit Leech. And Baby Mage got Incantation of Cursed Blades. I accidentally put the Incantation of Desiccation on there. I didn't really mean to take that. I just got the acronym screwed up, and my opponent let me swap it out. He was cool about it. And he also got Elemental Spirit. Spoilers, it doesn't show up on the table. Pouty Face is a real pain in the ass. Here's my opponent's spells. On Pouty Face, level 4, he got Pillar of Flame, the Conveyance one, Augmented Unit, whatever the heck it's called, Fireball, and Tree Singing. And his little level 2 got Pillar of Flame and Tree Singing. Arcane Urgency. Arcane Urgency, that's what it's called. Top of turn 1, my opponent won the roll to go first. Even though I had the +1, I almost never win the roll to go first, unless it's against Bretonnians and they stop to pray. It is what it is. The traffic jam idea definitely occurred. Everything stopped just outside the forest because my opponent's not stupid and knew that the welcoming committee would have been sharp, pointy, and slightly acidy. His dragon, though, he's peeking. He's looking around the forest, looking at those archers like they're some sort of Scooby snack. Not having it. Nope, not interested in that at all. But yeah, his Rangers, his Glade Riders, and even his Scouts, they all pile up behind the woods. I can't see them, they can't see me. He does have reserve move with the Glade Riders, but he didn't want to march them so he could throw out some vortexes and stuff like that. His Wild Riders on the right flank there, shot down. I can ignore them for a turn, I'm not super worried. And his Archers in the middle stayed perfectly still. Nothing happened, he didn't cast anything during his strategic phase. At the end of his moon phase, he tries to cast Arcane Urgency. Bernice goes to try to stop it and miscasts. Ends up miscasting 9. I stop it, but I can't attempt to dispel for the rest of the turn. That hurt. Didn't stop his dragon from moving up anymore, though, so I guess that's a win. In the shooting phase, his filthy archers killed off one of my horse archers, which is just rude. Since I can't dispel anything anymore, he gets both casters, the big Tree Singing off, which blocks off what I'm going to shoot at, but I wasn't really going to shoot at a whole lot. He's just trying to protect his dragon. I get that, but I got to get my archers into a better position. And then Pouty Face gets off the Pillar of Flame, which not what you want to see at top of turn 1, especially as a Tomb King player. Here's what the board looks like at the bottom of 1. This is before movement. He does move his Pillar of Flame. It went like 5 or 6 inches towards me, but it was too far away to actually hit anything. Here's the board after my movement and strategic phase. I was able to resurrect the Skeleton Horse Archer that he mercilessly slaughtered for no reason. What a jerk. And I was also able to get Glittering Robes off on Idametigasi. All my other spell attempts were canceled by Pouty Face because she's got the Oaken Staff, and if she's within 3 inches of a forest, which she is, she gets +3 inches to her Dispel range and gets to roll 3 dice, dropping the lowest to Dispel. And she is basically anti-magic as far as I'm concerned. what's her face? Bernice was able to summon my Tomb Scorpion right there near the woods, and I'm just kind of putting him there because I know where his dragon is going. I just want to make sure that once the combat is over, my Scorpion could run over there and maybe get a mighty killing blow off, maybe deter the charge, maybe. I didn't dispel either the tree singings because I want him to do it. Right now, it doesn't really help me. I'm going to move the archers as much as I can away, which is what I did. They shifted over to the right so that they can try to get out of his charge arc as much as possible. The Venerable Ushapti turned to just kind of back up the skeleton archers. They're just too wide and they don't have enough movement to really redirect or anything like that. Itamedagasi came over to try to help out, and these, the horse archers move forward to go after the archers in the center of the board, because why not? I really didn't have anywhere else to put them. That was it. Due to an extreme lack of better options, between the horse archers, Bernice, and the Boshati, we took that unit of 10 down to a unit of 4, but they do pass their panic check. Still, that's a lot of dead elves, and I'm feeling good. The only other thing worth of note during my turn is that at the end of the shooting phase, I use my reserve move because my BSB is the Banner of the Desert Wind, which gives them reserve move and Vanguard, but that's useless now. And just to basically reform to face the dragon so that when he charges me, I get my stand and shoot reaction with as many of these guys as I possibly can. Here's top of turn 2. It's a little bit before movement. He does declare the charge with the dragon after dropping one, not both, but one of his trees. Which makes perfect sense. His, Pillar of Flame only moved an inch, so it actually didn't hurt anything. I got really lucky there. The archers are going to stand and shoot. He had no other charges. So we stood and shot, like the brave soldiers that we were. Not everyone could shoot because, as you can see, not everybody was on the hill anymore. I'm not really sure if everybody gets to shoot or not. We had a quick discussion about it. It didn't feel right because if I don't have line of sight, I can't see you, so how can I shoot? So we couldn't find it rules. It was late. It was going on midnight. I was tired. This is a game for fun. So I think I shot with 17 to 19 of my 30 archers. If I'm wrong, please point it out in the comment section what I should have done. But I think I played it right. But out of the 19 shots, I did a ton of wounds, and 3 actually got through. I was very proud of my little archers. Strength 3 full saves, 3 wounds. He's a third of the way dead, and that feels good. You want to know what's even crazier? He failed his charge. He was 15 and a half inches away, and he rolled a 15 total. I got 3 wounds for free. There was much rejoicing. And that's where he ends up after the charge. I don't always have this kind of luck, but when it pops up, I am immensely grateful. Not only will my Boshati get a shot at him, but my archer should get another shot at him as well. Very excited about my turn 2. So here's what the board looks like after his movement. His Wild Riders come around on this flank there, on the right flank. His Rangers walk into the woods because they got to start putting some pressure on me. His Glade Guards stayed back, as well as his Scouts. They just kind of fell back a little bit, which is fine. They really don't need to do anything else. They're going to try to do tree singing, maybe another Pillar of Flame, stuff like that. His Archers in the center stayed put, and that was really it. In the shooting phase, Pouty Face, she did kind of peek into the woods, so she had line of sight and used her Ruby Ring of Ruin and Fireball on the horse archers. I stopped what I could, but Bernice didn't stop them all, and I'm down to about 6 guys, which means he got 4, which is honestly unforgivable. Unfortunately for me, my opponent is very smart and knows how to deal with undead. He concentrates his fire and uses his big brick of 10 Glade Guard to kill off 3 more of my horse archers. I'm starting to get a little nervous. And the 4, the little mediocre unit kills 2 more. I only got 1 left. Stop it. And then he gets his tree singing back up to block line of sight. I'm going to try to dispel it all with Bernice in my next turn because she's in range of both of them. But dang it, I did try. I did. So here's the bottom of turn 2 after movement and everything like that. The archers moved up about 1.5 inches, so I can back up 2, shoot him. I can move up 1.5 inches, shoot him, and then with my reserve move, because I have the banner, I can back up 2 inches and get a stand and shoot if he charges me. So that's a lot. I was able to dispel the tree singings, both of them, which is huge, but I wasn't able to get rid of the Pillar of Flame, which sucked. I was able to bring back some horse archers, so I'm back up to 6. I only got 5 back, but beggars can't be choosers. You know, it was kind of getting a little risky. The Tomb Scorpion came up and was trying to block the charge into the skeleton archers from the rangers. I know it's certain death for pretty much anything that goes into the rangers, but that's what the Scorpions are for. They're my redirectors. The Venerable Ushabti, I should have backed them up a little bit more, but instead I just kind of reformed them to look where the dragon was. Now that I think about it and look at it, I don't know what I was thinking. The Bowshati turned so that the Wild Riders can't charge them. They're out of range, but they can shoot at the general on a dragon, which I'm very excited to be doing. And then Idametigasi turned around to face the Wild Riders because they have to charge him next round. And I'm looking forward to that fight. That was pretty much it. All right, well, we go into shooting, and I try to get the Bowshati off strong, and they do like 3 or 4 wounds. Only 1 gets through, bringing his total wounds up to 5. I know you can't see the picture; it's a bad screenshot, but trust me, they put 2 wounds on him because he was able to save everything else. I didn't roll great. This part sucked though. The skeleton archers fired at his dragon, and I think like I did 2 or 3 wounds. Full save. He made every single one of them with armor. I was not expecting that. Maybe I was too greedy. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. But yeah, that sucked. They do back up there 2 inches, so I do get my stand and shoot reaction, but oof, I was really hoping for more. I was hoping to kill the damn dragon. I had to sacrifice the entire unit if they had dropped the dragon or got him to 7 wounds or something like that. That would have been great. But between the Bowshati and the archers, I just couldn't make it happen. The skeleton horse archers get a little bit of revenge, though. They fire off at the unit of 4, take down 3, causing the panic check, and he screams and flees. He goes like 8 inches, not even. He goes like 6 to 8 inches, something like that. He's not off the board yet, but he's not going to be shooting at me, hopefully, or at least not very well, and I'm feeling good about that. Here's what the board looks like at top of 3. No changes at the moment, but give me a second. His Pillar of Fire goes a full 6 inches, bouncing through my Horseman archers and Bernice, killing 3 of the archers and putting a wound on Bernice. That sucked. His archer, he tries to rally, he doesn't, and he flees off the table, which is good. In his movement phase, he declares the charges we all expected. His dragon's going after the archers, his rangers are going after the Scorpion, and his Wild Riders are going after Idametigasi. I do stand and shoot with the archers, but the other 2 just stand there and accept it. They all make it in, which was pretty much inevitable. However, the archers are able to put 2 more wounds on him. They rolled out of the box, got 2 more slip through. He is dangling. He is 1 great bow shot away from being past tense. And you know what? That's how we recruit. I'm excited. The Wild Riders in the Idametigasi doesn't concern me, and I've already said my goodbyes to the Tomb Scorpion. Is what it is. In the shooting phase, his wicked evil unit of big archer glade guard scumbags killed all but 1 of my horse archers, which just breaks my damn heart. Nothing else crazy really happens. He summons another set of woods, puts it just next to Bernice. Not a big deal. We go into combat, and these rangers eviscerate my Tomb Scorpion. It wasn't even close. They do overrun, I believe, 7 or 8 inches just to get closer to Horse Archer and Bernice. I get it, but I'm not going to be there next turn. This combat over here, his scumbag lord murders baby mage in cold bones. And with combat res and everything like that, I'm down to 19 models. Honestly, not bad, all things considered. We did swing back, but of course without poison, we never had a chance to wound him, and we didn't. We give ground 2 inches, and we're in it for the long haul. In this fight, the Wild Riders are only able to put a couple of wounds on Itametigasi, which I'm very pleased with. I couldn't get my spell off because Pouty Face dispelled my assailant because she's a horrible, horrible person. But between the Dragon and Ita and Stomps, I was able to get 2 past his ward save. He was rolling really good for his ward saves. In the end, he did 2 wounds and I think had close order. No, I'm sorry. He did 2 wounds and had a banner. I did 2 wounds and I have close order. Neither of us have musicians. Itametigasi can't carry a tune, so we just stand there. Here's what the board looks like at the bottom of turn 3. He moves his Pillar of Flame. It bounces through my remaining Horse Archer, and Bernice kills off the unit and puts another wound on Bernice. Not sexy. Here's what the board looks like after movement, and Bernice was able to heal her wounds because she's heavy cav, that was great, and she was also able to get Incantation of Desert Winds on herself, which means she gets to double move this turn, and that's going to be very useful. She also was able to get Cursiers off on the Rangers, and I didn't intend to shoot at the Rangers because I saw the Glade Riders, and I want them dead, or at least fleeing, if I could get them to flee. But with Curse of Years, it slows them down so they can't charge me next turn. They can still move up, there's still going to be a threat, but it buys me a turn to do something. The Venerable Ushapti, they move up like so because I expect my unit of archers not to be completely dead, but hopefully I'll be able to get past them. I also want to make sure that I don't get touched by the dragon if he does overrun. I move them in that direction. They got Incantation of Desert Wind hit them because it was the big one, so they're going to be able to reserve move, and I plan on just shifting them to the right to get out of the dragon's overrun. Other than that, not a whole lot of movement. I did summon my final Scorpion onto the table to just kind of threaten the Glade Riders if they stay there. And if not, use them as chaff to get the Rangers out of my way. That's about it. In the shooting phase, the Boshati take out 4 of the Glade Riders, which is outstanding. And if you're wondering where the 2 wounds came from, it's because Itametigasi soaked 2 wounds off of him for the Mortuary Cult special rule in order to try to get his Assailant spell off, and Pouty Face still stopped it. I had a +6, and she still stopped it. I wish I could have shot her. We go into combat, and God, I love my archers. Okay, so we don't do any wounds to him because it's a dragon. I don't expect them to. Weapon skill 2, strength 3? No, I don't expect them to do anything in combat. But they stayed. 18 died. With combat res and everything like that, 18 bought it. One guy stands strong and grabs his ankles, stopping him from overrunning. Oh my God, did I get lucky there. In this combat, Itametigasi is able to kill the Wild Riders. It's awesome. He is able to restrain, and then he turns to face the center of the board because he's got to get into this fight. Oh, and as you can see, Bernice, using her remaining moves, was able to get behind the Boshati. She can still be shot at, but it's a little bit more difficult of a shot. Here's the top of turn 4 after movement. His Pillar of Flame moved a little bit, not bad. He just completely redressed the ranks and reformed with his Rangers, which now they're a brick of just devastation. His Glade Riders and Pouty Face moved back. The Scouts moved up a little bit, but they're all hiding behind the woods and the impassable terrain. His Glade Riders, I can still see them in the or they're still peeking out of the woods, but I can't see them because the Rangers are in the way. And that's really it. It's coming down to the wire. The unit in the woods up in the middle there, they don't move either. Bernice and Itametigasi are out of range to try to dispel anything, so both mages get their tree singing off. The level 4 gets the big one, the level 2 gets a small one, and both of them get their Pillar of Flames off, and he just kind of clusters them right in there. So that's kind of like a no man's zone, and I'm going in. After that, we go into combat, and I know it's a little crazy, but his dragon and Glade Lord were able to finish off the bravest skeletal archer to ever exist in the old world, which makes him the bad guy. Just want that to be very clear. He does choose to overrun, and I get why. He was trying to get off the table, so I couldn't shoot at him, but he falls a little bit short, and the Boshati literally start wagging their tails. Here's bottom of turn 4 after movement. I didn't have any charges or anything like that. His Pillars of Flame, I think both of them moved an inch, maybe 2. Not enough to do anything. I got a couple of wounds put on me by his archers. I failed to get a picture of that. But in this turn, I was able to heal it with Bernice in his command range. He was able to heal both wounds, so he's good there. The Boshati turned to face the dragon, and just to hedge my bets, maybe I shouldn't have done this, but I really wanted to make sure I killed the dragon. I put Bernice over there to use her fireball just in case. The Venerable Ushapti, they just kind of turn in place the best they can in order to face off against the Rangers, and the Scorpion goes into the woods, takes his dangerous terrain check, and passes. My Inimedigasi moves up just a little bit. I should have probably moved him up more, but I didn't. And yeah, that's it for movement. We go into the shooting phase and we pull it off. The Boshati drop him. The funny part was I only did 3 wounds. He saved 2 of them, but thanks to multiple wounds too, that took him up to 9 and killed his dragon. There was much rejoicing. In the remainder of the magic phase, I couldn't get my fireball off because I had no line of sight. I don't regret the maneuver because if I didn't put Bernice over there, I would have needed the fireballs to do 1 more wound to him. I know, it is what it is. But she was able to get her spiritual vortex off, and the idea was just to cause dangerous terrain checks for the Rangers. I knew they were coming in. The Scorpion is up there still. I did get the column of crystal off, and I put it right behind him. And my thought process was he'd run into the Scorpion, close the door, and then if he overran, the column of crystal would stop him. Unfortunately, that's not what happened due to unable to close the door and everything like that. So the Scorpion had to run into him. You'll see it in a minute. But that was my thought process when I did this. And then with my reserve move, the Venerable Ushapti, they didn't get it, but the regular Boshati, they turn to face the Rangers, and Bernice just kind of gets behind them a little bit. That's really it. Here's top of 5 after movement, and the Pillars of Flame move, but only a couple of inches each, so they don't really hit anything. His Rangers go into the Scorpion. He hits, but he's not able to align, because if he did, then he would have hit the Venerable Ushapti. So unable to align kicked in, and the Scorpion was forced to close the door on him. Valuable lesson learned, and that's really it. His Glade Guard moved back. Pouty Face stayed forward to cast some spells and be able to dispel, and that was it for movement. In the shooting phase, those crazy archers in the woods shoot at my crazy Boshati in the woods and do 3 wounds, dropping a model completely, which I took personal. We go into combat, and he myrtleizes the Scorpion. He overruns and touches the cone of crystal. However, he also hits the Venerable Ushapti, who, due to the unable to align rule, closes the door on them. So I'm curious about this fight. It's really not favoring me at all, but it should be interesting. So here we are at bottom of turn 5. Listen, I know what I did here was stupid. This is after movement, as clearly I sent Inimedigasi in. I was able to get Spirit Leech off on him. I couldn't get Curse of Years. I wasn't able to get Glittering Robes off. I don't even think he dispelled that. I think I just rolled too low. But I was thinking about it. I don't have a lot of experience with the Rangers. Up to this point, I've only ever seen them once, and it was only a unit of 10, and by the time they got into combat, it was like 4 of them, and I was able to kill them. So I wanted to see how Inimedigasi would do against them, and I wanted to see how, especially with the Venerable Ushapti, I'm thinking, all right, so they've got a 6-up regen, because they're not going to get their armor. I only have to save a couple. They should get some attacks, and Inimedigasi should get some attacks. I'm going to swallow an entire Boshati to give me a +3 to cast my assailant. There's no way Pouty Face can stop me. I want to see what happens. If I die, I die. This game, we're only playing for $4,000. What's the big deal? So that's why I went in. Should I have done it? Tune in next week. No, you'll find out in just a minute. The Boshati turn to face the archers across the board because they have to die. I do not like the disrespect they've been putting down range this whole game unchecked. Bernice comes up. She's done with subtlety, with hiding. She wants to use her Ruby Ring of Ruin, and she's loaded both barrels. That's it, though. Everything else is on the ground and not moving. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not true. The Pillar of Flame went through the Venerable Ushapti and did a wound to him. In the shooting phase between the Boshati and Bernice's Ruby Ring of Ruin, I think I was able to kill like 4 archers. It was enough for a panic, but he passed it no problem. We go into combat, and oh my god. I way underestimated the Rangers. So they did 9 wounds to the Venerable Ushapti, and I saved a grand total of 0. He did 18 wounds to him, vaporizing the unit before they knew what the hell hit them. Then they proceeded to do, I want to say 4 wounds to Idametigasi that got through. Actually, only 2 got through, which was a total of 4. Idametigasi, I did get my assailment spell off. I ended up killing about 12 of these guys off in total. But in the end, I lost combat. And even with Indomitable, I have 1 wound left on him. I give ground 2 inches. He restrains. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I should have shot them a lot more. There was no reason for me to go in with Idametigasi. I could have avoided them. I could have, you would have gotten into the Boshati and probably killed them, but I could have saved my general a lot of pain. But I make bad decisions to see what happens, and sometimes I get burned for it. This is one of those times. Here's top of turn 6 after movement. He drops a lot of his vortexes, no big deal. And yeah, his Rangers, after a little bit of consideration, he charges them back in. He's got to finish off Idametigasi, and I understand that. His Glade Riders move up just a little bit, and his Scout and his Baby Mage stay put, as well as the Archers in the woods. That's about it. We go into combat and Idametigasi dies. The Rangers get 2 wounds through, which would have been a total of 4, but he only had 1 left. Never even got to say goodbye. Oh, broke my heart to see it. Broke my heart. And of course, the Rangers overrun into the Boshati. Oh, the Boshati are going to do good. I can feel it. I can feel it. I had doubts. Here's bottom of 6 after movement. Bernice was able to heal up some wounds on the Boshati, which is great because I'm going to need it. The Pillar Flame did move up, but it wasn't enough to actually hit anything. And I was able to get Spirit Leech off on the Rangers. I did try to get Curseers off on them, but either I failed or I miscast, but it didn't hurt Bernice at all. It didn't wound her. She saved it with her ward save. She did get Incantation of Desert Wind off because for some reason I thought it was turn 5 and it really wasn't going to matter. So yeah, and she moved up because the Archers in the woods need to pay. And pay they did. She gets her fireball off with a Ruby Ring of Ruin and obliterates all 6 of those evil, heartless, pointy-eared bastards. So, points secured, and Bernice, God, I love her. We go into combat, and the Boshati actually do really, really well. 5 die after combat res and everything like that, but they get the Rangers down to 3, and we ran a little mock one, like if it went into turn 7, and the Boshati would have killed the Rangers off. So, I mean, granted, they were much lower unit strength and everything like that, but in the end, if I had one more turn, theoretically, I would have gotten them, depending on dice gods and stuff like that. But really good fight right up to the end, but I couldn't quite secure the points. And that's it. That's the end of the game. Oh, it was so good, though. It was such a close game. Those Rangers were brutal. Brutal. But I got the dragon. I mean, he got mine too, but let's not focus on the past. Let's think about the now. But yeah, really good game, 0 complaints. I know I made a bad decision, but it was a fun decision. And in a game that is just for fun anyway, isn't that the point? Man, this was a wildly close game. Why don't more Wood Elf players take those Rangers? I know, they only get the bonuses against Fear Causers, but if they aren't the most effective monster killers in the game, I don't know what is. The Boshati are close, but in combat, those Rangers are terrifying. They obliterated the 5 Venerable Ushapti in 1 round of combat with extra wounds to go. It was amazing. I've never seen anything like that before. I would take 2 units of those Rangers at 20 every single time and run them 10 wide, daring my enemy to charge them. Yeah, maybe it wouldn't be as effective against a non-fear causer or something like that, but there's no monster or dragon that would be safe running into them. Oh, man, I almost had him, though. He almost had him. If the Venerable had just made a few saves and stuck it out, I would have been able to get him and maybe break him. Next time. It was really fun. The skeleton archers putting that much damage on the Dragon Lord in the first round of shooting was insane. 3, 4 wounds, whatever it was, and then another couple of wounds, giving the Boshati a shot, finishing him off in the end. The way they held on, too. I wasn't able to get close enough to try to res any of them, but the way they held on, the last man clutching at his ankles so that the Boshati could turn and shoot at him. Oh, glorious, glorious. They will be resurrected first. The Boshati, like I said, just shooting him off the board was, it felt right. It was very right. Pouty Face, that damn Spellweaver with the oaken staff blunted my magic phase bad. That 27-inch range, roll 3, drop the lowest. Oof, that is a tough mage to beat in casting. And then, of course, not being able to dispel in the beginning of the game because of that miscast really hurt. Ugh. Really close game, came right up to the end. I don't regret any of my decisions. They were all, well, my decisions. And now to the fun part, the Tithe of Bones. I may have lost, but there were corpses on the ground, and King Bubba Hotep needs his tithe. So, again, it was against the Wood Elves, so that's convenient. But in characters, I got another Glade Lord, so that's 2 total. I got a Forest Dragon, and yes, I am definitely counting dragons as a separate entity, because that's a lot of bones. And after what happened to Inametagasi and Badonkadonk, I'm gonna need more bones to rebuild my dragons. I didn't get any more Spellweavers or Singers, so that stays the same. In Core, I got 20 more Glade Guard for a total of 50, 4 more Glade Riders for a total of 14, no other Core, so in Special, there were no Sisters or Treekin. I did get 5 more Wild Riders in this one. Thank you, Ida, bringing my total up to 10. No Warhawk Riders, but I did get 17 of those Rangers. Only 3 left to tell the tale. It felt pretty good. And then there was no rare, so it's just a 1 Great Eagle. But the numbers are growing, even though I lost. I mean, we're undead. Do we ever really lose? We just get back up eventually and collect our spoils. King Bubba Hotep will be pleased. And there it is, another battle report in the history books. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comments section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, thanks.